Sagittarius. There are moments in life when you can feel the wind change direction, even though not a single branch in front of you is moving. A strange stillness settles over everything, and in that stillness, your intuition rises, like a flame that suddenly remembers its own heat. This week is one of those moments. A gentle turning point, quiet but impossible to overlook. There is something in the air that makes your heart more alert. Your eyes look a little farther, your mind listen a little deeper. It's the first sign of the shift between the Sun and Pluto, two forces weaving themselves into an unseen thread, pulling you closer to the path you're meant to step onto. You may not be able to name the feeling, but you recognize it. It's the same intuition that has lived inside you since the day you were born. Sagittarius has a gift for sensing distant change, the way an archer always knows when it's time to pull the bow and when it's time to steady his hands. And this week, your hands may tremble just a little, not out of fear, but because your soul knows a new chapter is opening, one you've never read before. Those flickers of intuition you've had in the last few days, they're not random. They're gentle nudges from the universe. Every moment of unease, every sudden pause in your chest, every night you wake up without knowing why, is simply a sign that the energy around you is shifting. Your sleep may feel lighter, your breath heavier, your thoughts wandering back to questions you thought you buried long ago. Don't rush to call it a problem. Sometimes the universe shakes the ground just enough to reveal a door you forgot you closed. Sagittarius, you are the sign of the journey, of wide horizons, of the soul that refuses to stay still. But even the strongest traveler has moments when he must stop, look down at his map, and ask himself whether the road ahead still matches the truth inside his heart. This week is that moment. A quiet invitation to slow your steps and listen to the voice that only speaks when everything else becomes silent. The Sun and Pluto are stirring up a vortex of energy, not to break you, but to move you out of the places you've outgrown without realizing it. You may feel like you're standing at a crossroads without a sign pointing either way. But the truth is, you're exactly where you're supposed to be, at the exact moment you're meant to be there. Small things may hit you harder than usual this week. A careless remark, a deeper than usual look, an unexpected message, a silence that lasts longer than it should. Every one of them is telling you that the door of change has been open for a long time. You just haven't looked straight at it. And now, that light is beginning to slip through the cracks, touching your shoulders, reminding you that your journey never truly ended. It's simply shifting shape. And there's one more truth, quiet but unmistakably real. The universe never awakens a soul until it knows that soul is ready. If you're hearing these words, it means you are ready. Ready for a phase where every challenge carries a lesson and every disruption carries a message about your own worth and growth. So let yourself breathe a little slower. Let your heart feel whatever it's feeling. And as you stand at the threshold of this turbulent week, remember this: nothing enters your life without purpose. And then, just as your heart opens to these first movements, another layer begins to rise, softly, quietly, the way dawn spreads across the surface of water without a sound, yet changing the entire color of the sky. Sometimes, the truths in our lives arrive in exactly that way, quiet, without warning, without asking permission. They just appear. And in a single moment, everything familiar feels different. Sagittarius, this week may bring a moment like that. A small shift, but one that sends a deep tremor through your heart. It might be a sentence you overhear by accident, a look that startles you, a truth you've been avoiding for a long time, finally finding its way back to you, or a situation you never had the chance to mentally prepare for. Your pain is rarely loud. It often shows up like a fine crack running through your heart, invisible to others. You endure more than you give yourself credit for. You know how to smile, so no one has to carry your weight with you. But even the most open, generous souls must someday face the fact that some things in their life were built on soft ground, and sooner or later, those structures have to collapse to make room for something truer. You may feel that crack inside your relationships, a distance you can't quite name, a sense that the rhythm is off, even though you and the other person are still standing side by side. Or you may catch yourself noticing something your heart has known for a long time, but only today dares to admit. The truth is not always cruel. Sometimes it's simply being more honest with you than you have been with yourself. For others, the shock may come through work or money. A plan you placed your hopes in suddenly derails. A project you poured your heart into falls out of orbit without warning. A sum of money disappears, or an opportunity you were sure about slips through your fingers in a heartbeat. But Sagittarius, sometimes a door doesn't close because you failed. It closes because you deserve another door that is wider, brighter, and more aligned with your soul. You may also feel a strange wind blowing through your career, a decision from someone above you, a sudden change in your work environment, a situation that forces you to look at where you're standing and ask yourself if this is still the place your heart truly wants to be. The energy of the tower doesn't come to terrify you. It comes to free you from what no longer fits, even if you've worn it so long you thought it was part of who you are. These disruptions can leave you stunned for a moment, but when that first wave of emotion passes, something else begins to move into the empty space. A feeling of lightness, a quiet knowing that, yes, it hurts, but it's right. Deep down, you've known this needed to happen, so you could be more real, so your heart could return to where it truly belongs, so new light can finally find a way into your life. Sagittarius, sometimes truth doesn't come to knock you down. It comes to lay a hand on your shoulder and tell you it's time to leave the places your soul no longer belongs to. And when one piece of the puzzle falls away, don't rush to pick it up. Take a step back and look at the whole picture. You'll see that the piece that dropped was the only one that no longer matched the image of the life you're meant to live. And then, while you're still touching those first trembling waves of shock, while your heart is still deciding whether to contract or open, another current of energy begins to move quietly toward you, like an answer to everything you've just been through, leading you deeper into the journey of healing and rebirth. Your soul has been waiting for a very long time. Sometimes, the first ripples of change are only the opening act for something deeper. Like the ocean, gently stirring before the whole tide begins to shift. And in that very moment, things you thought were buried under years of dust start to move again, as if an old door is slowly being opened. This week carries the mark of karma, not in the frightening way people often imagine, but in its truest meaning. Unfinished lessons, unhealed emotions, experiences you believed you had already outgrown, when in reality, you only placed them aside for a while. Everything you haven't fully faced has a way of returning, not to punish you, but to complete its cycle, to close properly, through maturity, not avoidance. You may find yourself meeting an old person, an old wound, or an old situation you were sure would never cross your path again. Strangely, it doesn't return to break you. It returns so you can look at it one last time, with the eyes of someone wiser now, someone deeper, someone who understands that every pain from the past was simply an unpolished stone meant to shape you into your brightest form. Some karma isn't yours. It's something you carried out of love, out of sacrifice, out of kindness given to the wrong places. Some karma isn't your fault at all, but somehow you are the one chosen to end its cycle and free it from the river of your life. That is the strength of a mature soul, not running from what happened, but standing still, opening your heart, and letting light fall on the last dark corners. You may feel the old shell around you beginning to crack. Habits that once helped you survive now hold you back. Beliefs that once protected you now feel too tight. Even parts of yourself you thought were permanent may start loosening, like pieces ready to fall away with just one gentle breath of wind. Don't be afraid. A seed only sprouts when its old shell breaks apart. Your soul is going through the same process. Every ache during this time carries a message. It tells you you've reached the threshold of change. You no longer belong to the old place, no longer see the world with old eyes, no longer love with the old version of your heart. The pain is only the small cracking sound of an old layer being torn open, revealing a new strength beneath it. Pain is the surface. What's happening underneath is rebirth. There will be afternoons when you sit quietly and tears fall without warning. Mornings when you wake with a tightness in your chest, as if your soul is trying to speak faster than your mind can understand. These are signs of karma releasing, This is the process of paying emotional debts you've carried for far too long. And the most beautiful part, you're paying them with compassion, not resentment. When a karmic wave passes, it always brings a new path behind it. A chapter you will enter with a lighter heart, clearer eyes, and a quiet confidence that whatever finds you next is here to lift you higher. And just as you touch that truth, as pain and clarity weave together like fine threads in an ancient tapestry, another layer of energy begins to open ahead of you, soft as a breath, yet strong enough to shift the entire direction of your life. And from that moment on, different parts of your life begin to shift all at once, as if every area is studying itself under a new kind of light. When a soul enters a season of shedding its old skin, the signs never appear in just one place. They spread outward like ripples on the surface of a lake, touching all four corners of your life and awakening everything that has been silent for too long. In matters of the heart, you may notice the first tremors. It isn't always a fight or a life-changing decision. Sometimes it's a small moment, but one that suddenly brings clarity to feelings you've sensed for a long time. An untruthful glance, a sentence that softens your heartbeat, a silent distance between two people who once understood each other without speaking at all. If there is a mask, it will fall in the simplest moments, and the truth, once revealed, is rarely as painful as you imagine. It's simply returning you to the honesty you were meant to receive from the very beginning. In work and finances, you may see a door close right in front of you, a project veering off course, an opportunity slipping by like wind, a flow of income slowing without warning. But keep your heart steady. Life isn't taking anything from you. It's pushing you away from a path that no longer belongs to you. These shifts may confuse you at first, but shortly after, you'll feel something unexpected. A lightness, as if you've just stepped out of something that held you too tightly for far too long. Within your family, old stories may resurface. Misunderstandings that piled up over the years, small, unspoken sadnesses waking up all at once. Don't see it as trouble. See it as a soft rain washing the dust off the yard after many long days. Families aren't perfect, but these gentle collisions help everyone see each other more honestly, more fully. This is how ancestral karma is cleansed, through honesty, compassion, and understanding that every person carries wounds of their own. As for your health, the body is always the most truthful companion, a mirror that never lies. You might feel heaviness in your hips, your thighs, or your liver. This isn't a warning, it's a message. Your body is trying to release emotions you've held too tightly for too long. Sagittarius is a sign of motion, of journeys, of inner rivers meant to flow. When emotions are blocked, the body speaks up to remind you that it's time to return to your own freedom. Whether it's love, work, family, or health, these signs share one truth. They are markers of growth. Not the kind of growth measured by logic, but the kind that happens deep in the soul. Change never happens in one place. It expands, touching every corner of your life to make sure you truly step into a new chapter, not just shift a few habits on the surface. And as these waves spread wider, as you meet each shift with more awareness, you begin to see that none of this is collapse. It is rearrangement, truth placing everything exactly where it belongs, pain setting you down only to lift you up in a different way. And then, very close now, another moment waits for you. A moment where the light begins to reach deeper, touching the most delicate part of your soul, and guiding you toward a phase few have the courage to enter. But you do, because there are roads meant only for those who dare to be honest with themselves, who dare to walk into the dark just to see what has been hiding there all this time, who dare to step into a quiet space where no one can walk with them, no one can lead the way, only the sound of their own breath and the most sincere rhythm of their own heart. That moment is the dark night of the soul, a long night, but never a meaningless one. A stretch of darkness carefully arranged by the universe. It's when you realize the old parts of you have slipped away as softly as dust, while the new has not yet arrived. Only standing somewhere in the distance, hidden behind a veil of mist, waiting to see if you have enough patience, enough steadiness, and enough truth to welcome it. You may feel as though you're standing in an empty room where everything familiar has been cleared out. no anchor, nothing to hold on to. But that emptiness is not meant to frighten you. It appears so that, for the first time in years, you can finally hear yourself clearly. No one can hear the sound of a stream while standing in the noise of a busy city. And you cannot hear the call of your inner voice when your mind is still crowded with yesterday's echoes. Sometimes, only in the darkness do we see our own light the clearest. You may feel like everything is suspended, the future blurred, the past far away, and the present like a fog with no path through it. But that is only the illusion of a soul in transformation. When the cocoon begins to crack, the butterfly inside doesn't know where it will fly. It only knows it cannot stay in the cocoon anymore. And you are the same. On the most uncertain nights, don't be afraid if you feel yourself growing weaker. Don't be ashamed if you have to sit down, take a slow breath, and ask what is happening to you. That is not a sign of collapse. It is a sign of growth. True strength is not about standing tall all the time. It's about admitting when you are tired. This is the stage where many people take a different path out of fear, but not you. You are the kind who looks into the dark and wants to know what lies beyond it. You carry the instinct of a traveler, always believing that any road, no matter how shadowed, will eventually lead to dawn. And your soul has never been wrong. This emptiness is the space needed for something better to be born, just as the earth must be turned before seeds can take root. The deeper the soil is tilled, the stronger the tree becomes. The dark night of the soul works in the same way. It doesn't break you, it prepares the ground. What matters most now is allowing yourself to soften. Don't try to control everything. Don't try to explain everything. Don't try to pretend you're fine. Let your heart become quiet. When the mind stops running, the soul finds its way, and you'll realize that this emptiness you feared is actually a new form of freedom, one you never dared to touch before. Then, in a moment you least expect, a thin beam of light will slip into your life. Not loud, not blinding, but so gentle you must pause to notice it. The light of something finally becoming clear. The light of the answers you've been searching for. The light of a new path opening slowly, quietly, just enough for you to know this journey was never meaningless. And from here, a different kind of awareness begins to rise, guiding you into a new current of life, where everything starts to move in ways you couldn't have imagined. Only this time, your heart is wide enough to receive it. When one door of darkness closes, there is always a thin line of light opening somewhere else. Not loud, not rushed, just enough for you to feel that you're stepping into a different kind of air, where every sense sharpens, every thought clears, and the things you once overlooked begin to call your name. That's when your intuition starts to wake up. Not the vague kind that leaves you unsure, but the sharp kind. The kind you cannot ignore. You'll look at someone and instantly understand what they didn't say. You'll hear a story and notice the truth hiding between the silent lines. You'll feel the energy of a room before you even walk inside. Signs from the universe will also begin to reach you in the most subtle ways. A repeating number glowing on your phone. A song that plays the exact line you needed to hear. A strange dream you can't forget the next morning. A chance encounter that opens a new thought about who you are. These are not coincidences. They are small arrows from the universe, guiding you back onto your true path. Because when a soul moves through real upheaval, the dust of everyday life finally falls away. And when the dust falls, you see more clearly. You hear more clearly. You understand more deeply. What once confused you becomes easy to read. Questions you avoided begin to answer themselves, and the things you once felt uncertain about start becoming a clear calling. A voice rising from the deepest part of you. Many people think spiritual awakening is something mystical or unreal, but really, it is simply a return to the truest version of yourself, a return to the courage you forgot you had, a return to the dreams you buried because you feared no one would understand them, a return to the soft yet powerful part of your soul, the part that knows exactly who you are and where you're going. In the coming days, you may notice a strange calm within you, not numbness, but the peace of someone who understands that every disruption carries its own meaning. You'll react less quickly, but you'll understand more deeply. You'll feel clarity sliding toward you, slowly, gently, like sunlight slipping through a morning curtain. Crisis never comes to destroy you. It comes to strip away the parts you no longer need, so that light can reach the places you hid because you believed they were too fragile. So that you can see true strength isn't about resisting life, but opening the door and trusting it. And as you start recognizing those small signs guiding your steps, you'll understand why everything had to unfold in the exact order you once questioned. Every pain, every break, every moment that felt like loss was really a soft push toward a brighter place you were not yet ready to touch. When a soul upgrades, it rarely makes a sound. It simply changes the way you see the world. Lighter, deeper, bright enough to illuminate yourself, and warm enough to illuminate those walking beside you. And from that awakening, a new branch of your life begins to reveal itself, where the choices ahead carry a completely different color, as if the universe is placing a map in your hands you were once too overwhelmed to hold. All you need is to open your eyes, and you'll see the path glowing beneath your feet. That light doesn't come from the outside. It comes from you, from everything you've had the courage to walk through. And when a new path is about to open, the universe often places quiet instructions in your hands, so subtle that if your heart isn't still enough, you'll miss them. Maybe that's why, this week, life will gently guide you back to the simplest things. The things we often overlook, yet they are the threads that hold the soul steady when the winds begin to change, like writing in a journal. It sounds ordinary, but it's one of the clearest ways to speak with yourself. The moment your pen touches the page, your thoughts become clearer. Your sadness finds a name. Your joy feels whole. Writing lets you look back at the road you've walked and realize just how strong you had to be to stand where you are now. Or maybe it's as simple as a few minutes of meditation or prayer. You're not searching for answers in those moments. You're allowing the mind to slow down. And when the mind slows, the heart begins to speak. And when the heart speaks, you instinctively know which direction is truly yours. In a time of so much movement, stillness becomes your compass. Nature, too, will become your most loyal companion in the days ahead. Just sitting by water or walking a few minutes under the gentle morning sun can refill your energy. Water has a way of washing away worries you cannot put into words. And sunlight has its own quiet way of reminding you that no matter how long the night lasts, dawn always returns, steady as breath. When it comes to money, this is not a time for risks or impulsive choices. Not because you're incapable, but because the universe wants you to conserve your energy, to avoid loss and unnecessary waste. Think of money as water. When you let it flow in the right direction, everything moves smoothly. But if it spills into places that don't need it, you'll spend far too much effort trying to gather it back. And this is certainly not the time to lend, even if your heart wants to help. Sometimes, giving too much leaves you empty in ways that take a long time to repair. Let your body be light. Drink more water. Eat a little less. Keep everything simple, like cleaning a room before decorating it again. The body is the temple of the soul. When the temple is clear and calm, the soul can finally speak. But above all, don't run from your emotions. Don't try to be so strong that you forget you're human. Whatever you feel, let it exist. Sadness, disappointment, loneliness, even the fears you haven't dared to name. Give them space, and you'll see they dissolve on their own when they are truly heard. This is the week you must hold on to faith. Not faith in the outcome, but faith in the journey. Faith that every step you take has meaning. Faith that the universe never brings anything just to hurt you. And faith that whatever is taken away is simply clearing space for something better to arrive. And as you follow these quiet instructions, slowly, steadily, your heart will begin to sense something else moving toward you. A signal that this journey is about to lead you into a much wider light, where the biggest changes are waiting for you, not to test you, but to lift you. Every soul that reaches the end of its darkness carries a new light with it, and so do you. You may not see it clearly yet, but it's growing inside you, slowly, steadily, like the patient heartbeat of life itself. And then the moment will come. The moment you suddenly realize you're not hurting the way you used to. You're not angry the way you were. You're not afraid the way you once felt. There may be no fireworks in the sky, just an ordinary morning when you wake up and notice your breath feels lighter. Your mind is no longer tangled like it was in the weeks before. Your heart no longer tightens at the memories you've carried. It's as if someone opened a window in your room during the night, letting fresh air sweep in, bringing with it a quiet, hopeful energy. That is the moment of rebirth. Rebirth isn't about becoming perfect. Rebirth is when you look at who you were a month ago and clearly see the difference. When you feel grateful for the very things that once hurt you, because without them, you wouldn't be this strong. When you move forward with slower, steadier steps, like someone who has finally taken back the steering wheel of their own life after walking through storms. Within the next month, a form of compensation will come, and each person will receive it differently. For some, it might be a sudden financial opportunity. For others, a career path that finally aligns knocks gently at the door. For those seeking peace, the compensation may arrive as a calm you once believed was impossible for you to feel. And for some, it may come as a new connection, a soul the universe has been saving for you. However it arrives, you will know the moment it touches you. So this is why everything happened. You are no longer the person you were, no longer carrying the old fragments, no longer letting fear lead the way. You've become a version of yourself, shaped by fire, yet shining because of everything you survived. A light that's steady, a light that's mature, a light that doesn't need to prove itself. And then, one final image rises in your imagination like a quiet prophecy. You stand on an open hilltop where the wind rushes past you but doesn't knock you down. Your hair pulled back by the breeze, revealing the face of someone who has walked through fire and did not burn. There is a new light in your eyes, not the light of innocence, but the light of someone who has seen their truth and still chooses to walk forward with a sincere, fearless heart. You stand tall, your spine straight, your feet grounded like deep roots in the earth. The sky ahead is wide and blue, so open that it feels as if the world is unfolding again, specifically for you. You no longer avoid the fire. You've become the one who knows how to use it to light your own path, and even illuminate the path for those who walk beside you. A warrior of light is not someone who fears no darkness. A warrior of light is someone who understands that darkness has its purpose and still chooses to walk toward the dawn. And now, on that hilltop, in this very moment, you are that person.